All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Yak podcast. Recording this after Arsenal unfortunately lose to Manchester United, kind of heartbreaking fashion. Second half, United poured it on, but we got Ismail and Waleed back. Probably almost a year since you guys were on the podcast. I don't even remember last time what we were talking about. I know Chelsea wasn't doing that well last year either, but I guess they were doing much better than this year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was. I think it was last season, and at the time it was the beginning of the season, and yeah, I guess Chelsea just didn't do that well, but they ended up fairly strong. I think they came third in the end, so it was okay.
And you were coming off that Champions League final, so you were feeling a little bit
Oh
better.
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But now we have nothing. We haven't won anything last season, so there's nothing keeping me smiling at the moment.
We got Ismail back on. He's actually probably feeling good right now.
Feeling better compared to how I felt for a long time, but cautiously optimistic, man. Cautiously optimistic.
I
When
mean, yeah, we can start. Like the team just looks completely different. Obviously, they made a bunch of transfers probably after that Brentford game. Probably gave them a wake up call, like bringing in Anthony, Casemiro. So, what do you think about the transfer window?
yeah, I mean, I know like Ten Hag, of course, he's coming in. He wanted to get players who would fit into his system, and it was very clear like Malacia, someone who could fit into his system. Martinez, he of course knew. Anthony, he of course knew. So he had his targets, and it didn't look like some of them were gonna come through. And fans were just kind of like, "What's going on?"
Especially De
Uh,
Jong.
yeah, De Jong, like what happened there? I still can't really figure out what what transpired, but because it looked like it was going to be okay for a while, and then United got beat bad, and then I think upper management said, okay, like we got to do something, and it did look for a while they were just trying to get whoever, like a panic buy, like Casemiro seemed like a panic buy. I mean, a good panic buy, and United is in the position that it has the funds to do that kind of thing, which is not the best, but I mean, we ended up with a decent player who still got a few years on him. And then, yeah, Anthony at the end, Dubravka. I think they're all good signings. And now uh, Ten Hag has some depth to the squad, which United has always had probably a decent, good first team. But outside of that, it was just a struggle. And I'm just glad that we don't got that McFred midfield as like the starting midfield now. We have some.
And Ericsson, I thought was a pretty good buy, especially he's has experience and he's just like a good ball playing midfielder.
Yeah, I mean he's been awesome. I mean he's been in kind of like that six role. And like today it was very clear that his link up with Fernandez was on point. Just looking to get the ball forward, whether it was a quick pass or even if they gave him just a little bit of time, he can make a good decision with the ball. And that's something that we really needed for a while now. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he wasn't that expensive. So
yeah.
it's
To be
good to
honest,
see his value.
I didn't think Ericsson and Fernandez would work together because they're both two number 10, two creative players. So I was a bit confused why he started playing them together, but I guess it's working, so why not?
yeah, especially after the Brentford game where he was kind of like the first guy that De Gea was passing to, and he would just get pressed immediately, and then they would like be in chaos basically. But
Mm.
even though they still don't really play a six, right? Like today they played McTominay.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just more of a destroyer. You saw that like tackle on Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, he just literally like body slammed him.
But yeah, so they never really bought I mean, obviously they bought Casemiro, but they didn't even start him. Is he still injured or is he just getting fitness?
Yeah, I think Ten Hag probably just, I don't know if it's a fitness thing or he's just wanting him to be more in tune with his system, maybe. So he's bringing him on for like 30 minutes or whatever at the end of the game. So I think hopefully with time, I mean, I do expect he's going to start Casemiro at some point because if he doesn't, then I'm just like, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, Casemiro is a big upgrade on McTominay, so that would be good for them.
McTominay has always had like the right fighting spirit that you need, but he just doesn't have the finesse on the ball or the good decision making. Like Casemiro's calm. He doesn't look, frazzled when the ball comes to him. And McTominay will just run at people sometimes, which is good, but when he has the ball, he'll just lose it.
Yeah, similar with Fred. I thought like they both have like really good engines. Like they both like work hard, but they just like sometimes they just need like, better skill, better decisions, like you said. But I mean you can definitely tell they're playing differently than the first couple of games. They're not like trying to play out from the back anymore as much. They're pretty much just booting it up, trying to play long ball, counter-attacking football,
Yeah.
which pretty much did Arsenal in this game, especially in the second half. Um, so what did you think about the second half? Did you think like you think our United would get a point in the first half?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna end up a draw because I'm sure Arsenal's gonna grab one back. And when they did, and it looked like the momentum was swinging Arsenal's way, I was like, oh no, we can't lose this game now. But uh what's his name? Lokonga had a lot of work to do. Like he had so much pitch to cover, and I just don't know. Like that part was open. Ericsson kept having time with the ball. So I was like, okay, if he can just find the right little 1-2, then we might be able to spring. And to see Rashford running like he's running is just, oh man, every United fan's so happy right now. That's like 2019-18 Rashford, just he has so much skill, and I don't know, he's in a proper 10 role now, so I think it really suits him than being on,
He's
a
basically
wing.
playing number 9. He's playing striker.
Yeah, he's actually, you're right. Yeah, just like straight up in front. So.
But yeah, I mean, the majority of the game was played in Arsenal's half. Waleed, what did you think about that? You thought like they were just not being clinical enough? Like what was their issue?
Yeah, I don't know. It just Arsenal, they played well, they were doing well, and then um, even in the first half when Martinelli scored that goal, that was obviously disallowed. They done well, but then when Man United scored the second goal, it just seemed to fall apart for them. After that, they just didn't know what they were doing, and Man United were all over them. But they did have all the possession. They just didn't have that killer instinct. They didn't have that. They weren't clinical enough to finish off their chances or create that many chances.
Yeah, and they probably have to improve on that. Even in the last couple games, they've kind of nicked it late, especially when the other team has like 6 or 7 people in their box, like United were
Mhm.
basically playing today. But yeah, I mean, you said Lakanga, he was pretty much on his own. It was pretty much just him and the two center backs in the back. So as if you got a running start, obviously you're probably quicker than the center back, especially Anthony, Rashford, Sancho. They're all very
Yeah.
fast players. I thought Arsenal were a bit like naive. Maybe they played a little bit too aggressive,
Mm.
especially in the second half because they took off they took off Lakanga and they put on Vieira, who was his first start basically
Yeah,
this
it was a
season. I was
debut.
I was so surprised that he put him on. Um, I mean that's basically their only midfielders because Elneny is injured as well. So,
Yeah, I know
but
you guys definitely were missing folks in the middle. Which if you were fully fit would have been a different story, probably. But I thought I mean, Zinchenko was having a good field day on that left side, man. He was so fluid. He could just go from being a defender. He would just come up as like a winger almost. He's been a really good signing for you guys, and I guess he pulled him off because he's not fully fit. Maybe he's still not ready for a full 90 minutes because he pulled him off for who? Nketiah?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And Smith Rowe came in for Odegaard. So they basically went off like, all out attack, which I thought was a bit naive considering it was only 2-1 and we still
Yeah.
had most of the possession. Like we could have probably still maybe scored an equalizer, but obviously another counter did us in. But what'd you think about Anthony in his first game?
Yeah, I mean he was a fireball of energy, and um he even tried some, crazy shots from outside the box. I mean, he's kind of known for that, I think, with his play at Ajax. He used to score quite a bit actually from outside, coming inside on his left and then shooting for that like top left corner. So that was nice to see. And yeah, he definitely looked pacier than Elanga. I mean, Elanga's quick, but he doesn't have that kind of confidence that, I mean, Anthony just came in and felt like he was running the show on that right side of the pitch.
He also has the stature a little bit. I think Elanga is a little bit shorter. But he looks
Yeah,
like a
thinner. Anthony looks stronger, can hold off defenders a little bit better than Elanga probably can. So
he,
no,
he
that
looks
was
like
really
a
good to see.
he looks like a left-footed version of Zaha almost.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I mean, him and Sancho as wingers are just going to be really nice.
Yeah, and then you have flexibility with Martial coming back and Rashford and obviously Ronaldo. But
Yeah, the key thing is going to be getting them the ball.
yeah,
Like United still in the middle of the pitch are still kind of, that's where their defense looks much more solid than last year. It was so funny to see Maguire get subbed on, and like as soon as he got subbed on, he got a yellow.
yeah. There was even maybe a
Uh,
penalty shout. I thought like he clipped was it Nketiah, maybe somebody or Vieira in the box, but
yeah, in the box.
didn't really
In the
look at it
box.
again.
Yeah. I think they figured he wasn't gonna make a good attempt at the ball. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing with Ten Hag is he's not afraid to make the big decisions like dropping Maguire, who's the captain, dropping Ronaldo, dropping Shaw for their new left back.
yeah,
He's
Malacia.
made such big decisions and it's working out for them. And other, like for example, the old manager Solskjaer, he was scared to drop Maguire because he was the captain. So those kind of decisions are probably helping them out.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what fans are appreciating right now is Ten Hag seems like he has control of the team, and um, they have some kind of like spirit about them. Like, okay, we're gonna work for our manager. We don't look lazy out there. We're not gonna get outrun. Like, yeah, Arsenal dominated possession, but when they had the chance, they took their chances and ended up, with a victory. So it looks different. It looks different than the Solskjaer team.
Yeah, I mean the team definitely looks more connected. They definitely have a plan. They're not just trying to. United, I feel like the last couple of years were pretty much just like trying to be like one man shows, but now it definitely looks more connected. And I mean, with what we talk about Chelsea, with Chelsea struggling, they definitely believe they can probably get top four. Well, I feel like the best teams right now are probably City, Spurs, Arsenal, and maybe even United. And we probably shout out Brighton.
I know, dude. Brian looks so good right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I feel like they have one of the probably the best one of the best coaches in the Premier League, Graham Potter. But
Yeah.
let's get to Chelsea, Waleed. What are you thinking about them? How are you feeling?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about Chelsea. Every time I watch them, I just get so frustrated because it's like watching the same match on repeat. The same stuff happens every game. No one can. It seems like there's no tactics. Everyone's just passing sideways, and the team selection is just off as well. I don't know. I don't understand why Havertz starts every game. That really annoys me so much because he literally offers nothing. Even though he just scored, but he offers nothing. He barely ever scores. He doesn't hold up the play. He doesn't link up the play. He doesn't make runs. I mean, he does make runs, but not into good areas. And then you have a striker who used to play for Southampton last season who done really well in the Premier League. He's proven in Broja, and he's good at holding up the ball. He's an actual number 9 where Havertz isn't. You could play him, but even when you're not playing Havertz, yesterday I think he played, I think Sterling or Pulisic up front when you have a striker, and it's just not making sense, and nothing's making sense at the moment.
It feels like he's just like trying to like throw players out there and see if it fits. Like he's trying
Yeah.
like 5-2-2-1 or something like that. Like some crazy formations out there.
Yeah, he's experimenting so much, and it doesn't seem like he himself knows what the best starting 11 is.
Yeah.
Especially when you're missing Conte. That's probably, biggest, X factor, I guess, in the team.
Yeah, Kante and Kovacic recently, they've just been so injury prone. And definitely missing Kovacic because for the past 2 seasons, I think he's been probably our best midfielder. And without him, it's just not the same. Jorginho in the middle on his own just obviously isn't good enough. He doesn't have the legs. And Kante, obviously, everyone knows what he's like. But recently, he's been injury prone for quite a while. When he does come in, he's going to do a solid job. So as long as when the Chelsea players are back, then I'll start feeling more confident. Like when we have all our players back to full health, full fitness, then hopefully we'll start seeing some results, better results.
Yeah, I mean, they just brought Aubameyang in, another striker. So probably maybe a couple weeks for him with his jaw. Hopefully, he heals up quickly. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the thing about Chelsea. I feel like they started counterattacking football, but now they're kind of like in between where they don't really know how to build up play that well.
Hmm. Yeah, like they're playing possession football, but they don't know what to do with the possession. That's why they just pass sideways. they're passing to someone in the middle, but then they don't know where to put the ball. We haven't got enough creativity, and that's the thing that's worse. Like we have so many runners off the ball. You have Havertz running off the ball. You have Sterling, and no one can create the chances.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen Sterling play mostly like in the middle. Like they give him the ball like kind of in that number 10 role, and they trying to like I guess they're trying to just force him to create something.
Yeah, it seems like he's Chelsea's new Hazard, because when Hazard was there for Chelsea, he was doing everything in the front part of the pitch, and now they're probably expecting that from Sterling, but he's not up to the task. I mean, he has done well, but I don't think he can sustain that and carry Chelsea to a title or even top four, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, I do see similarities between United and Chelsea and Arsenal. Whenever they got a new coach, they pretty much try to solidify the back, and then they try to go from there. Even Arsenal, when they won the FA Cup like 2 years ago with Arteta, they were playing five at the back. They're pretty much playing counter-attacking football with Aubameyang and Pepe. So I
Yeah,
do see.
you gotta stop the bleeding. You gotta United didn't have a clean sheet for forever. It's like to get a clean sheet against like Southampton was such a big deal because I mean that's just crazy to think that that's what it came down to. And I mean, if you take De Gea's amazing season last year away, United would have probably been hit for so many more losses. I mean, De Gea like single-handedly saved some games. So that's what I thought. I thought Ten Hag would move to like a five people at the back initially, but I guess he got the right players that he would fit his style. And Varane and Martinez are a solid like partnership back there. And then Dallo can actually go up, make some decent runs. And Malacia is just he works really hard. Like him and Saka today was such a good battle between the two of them. Saka's so pacey, but Malacia could actually keep up with him for most of it. Sometimes Saka got away. Um, and it's good. So yeah, you got to shore up the back, otherwise you're just bleeding goals.
It's crazy how much the lineup has changed just from like the end of last season. Like Malacia, even Dallo, what Wan-Bissaka was playing a lot last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ronaldo was playing a lot last season. Now you have Sancho and Antony playing. Even Rashford, I feel like he was dropped sometimes last season because I feel like he wasn't really that good on the left wing.
Yeah, he was off last season too. He had come back from an injury. He wasn't body language didn't look good. And then yeah, I don't think he was in his preferred position. So Sancho can play on either side, and I think it seems like whatever side gets him the ball, he'll be fine. So if Anthony's more of that right winger guy, then he'll be fine on the left.
But yeah, I mean they definitely solidified the back. They've got the right center backs, at least from their manager's perspective. Tuchel's still trying to figure out his best center back pairing,
For
probably.
real.
What do you think? You think Fofana is gonna start over like Koulibaly or something, or what? Waleed.
I think Fofana, Koulibaly, and Thiago Silva are the starting centre backs now. They just played that in the most recent game, and I think he'll stick with that because I don't see anyone else starting over them. They have Chalobah, and obviously he's not the greatest, and we have Reece James who can start into a right centre back, but you need him for right wing back. Otherwise, without him at right wing back, we're worse than we already are. So I
Yeah.
think his first starting centre back's his first choice.
Yeah. I mean, then that obviously brought another left back in, so they got Chilwell and Cucurella kind of playing on the left side sometimes.
Yeah.
I thought Chilwell did well in the last game.
I
Which
had
makes
forgotten about him completely. And then I was like, oh, this guy's still here.
yeah. And they just bought him, I think, 1 season ago,
It's
right?
because he was injured for so long last season.
Hmm.
I think it was 2 seasons ago, but yeah, it was 2 seasons ago because he was there for the Champions League when yeah, it was 2 seasons ago. But recently when he's been coming on, he's been playing on the wing with Cook. Like he doesn't usually come off for Cooper, and he just comes on the wing, so it's just not making sense what Tuchel's trying to do. He's playing everyone out of position. No one has any idea where they're playing. And Loftus-Cheek is sometimes in the midfield, sometimes right wing back, and Conor Gallagher, even him, I don't think he's like supposed to be playing in a pivot kind of role. He's supposed to be playing a bit up ahead, but role doesn't exist in Tuchel's system, so it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to play like a number 10 when you have like, 5 at the back and then 2 in the middle. And it's like, where are you going to play your striker and, forward players? But I think Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think we don't even have a number 10. So even if we wanted a number 10 role, there isn't anyone there to fill it up because it seems like Mount is meant to be there to be creative, but he's not very creative. This season, he hasn't been offering much. Last season, he was doing well in terms of goals and assists, but this season, it just seems like he's been useless, and that's probably why he was dropped last game.
Yeah. I think the next team I wanted to talk about was Liverpool. I don't know how much you saw of their most recent games, Ismail, but I mean, there's definitely something off with them.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully they're off, and that's what kind of catalyzed United to go on this little run right now. I mean, even yeah, like I think they're missing Mane a lot. I think Mane was just like completely underrated, except for people who are actually probably true Liverpool fans. But he did so much to then free up Salah to kind of do what Salah was doing. I think, I don't know, in the United game, we just had more pace than them, which was surprising. And then
It's probably similar to the Arsenal game, actually, in that they
yeah,
kind of just sat back and tried to counter.
yeah. Which I hope United just learns to build possession themselves and not just have the other team just have the ball the whole time, because that's gonna, like, you can't do that against. I mean, you're gonna lose to City like that. You're gonna, I mean, if Arsenal is fully fit, you probably lose to Arsenal like that too. Spurs, like these bigger teams, they're gonna hurt you if you just leave them the ball. So, but Liverpool, yeah, I don't know. Their whole body language just seems off, and Klopp, I don't know. I mean, he's always been a good manager for them, and he hasn't figured out what to do with the current squad he has. And yeah, it seems like they're kind of experimenting too. They're going through injuries and trying to figure out what's the best thing. Missing Thiago in the middle.
Yeah, I think Trent, like usually they're, trying to kind of creator because it's kind of weird. They kind of create from their left back and their right back. And I think Robertson's been injured recently as well. They've been playing that Simikas guy. So
Yeah.
they're kind of missing that creative outlet similar to Chelsea.
But they did score 9, so
Yeah, that is pretty insane. But yeah, I mean, it's similar to, I guess, Arsenal as well. They kind of, not Arsenal, but I guess that's what was different, I think, from last season is that they're trying to punish like the bad teams when they have possession, which is what, Arsenal did today too. But they have so much possession in the opposition box that they don't really know how to score goals from it when the team is sitting back. But after the transfer window, I think Haaland is probably looking like the best guy from the transfer window.
Bro, he has to succeed. He has the best midfield behind him. All they have to do is just give him the ball, and he's just gonna either tap it in. I mean, he holds off defenders so well. Every time I watch him, I'm just like, dude, he's gonna tear up the Premier League. It's crazy. I mean, what center back can properly guard him? He's 6'5", running at you with the ball. Maybe Van Dijk when Van Dijk is at his best. But like, who else? How do you stop that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's so strong that if a Man City player throws a cross in the box across the floor, it's just a tap in for him because all he needs to do is move the defenders out of the way, which doesn't seem to be a problem for him because of how strong he is. Every goal for him is just a tap in, and not every player can score tap ins like him because they don't have the strength like him. So it's like they're playing with a cheat code up front.
Yeah, I mean, they basically added like one of the best strikers in the world to their already amazing attack. Like they already create like 50 chances in every game. So if those chances go to him, he's gonna score.
Yeah, and they were doing this all with a false number 9. Now he's like an actual real number 9. So I mean, it's crazy. They just have to get him the ball. If they get him the ball, then he's gonna have a really good season. And yeah, he has to stay healthy. Like that's got to be the key. But he has such good. I mean, Cancelo comes up and will deliver crosses in. I mean, from all over the pitch, they can just get him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, other teams are like struggling for creators, and City has like 5 of the best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting game yesterday, the Man City game. And Gundogan's been playing amazing too. Like he's been playing really well, just
Yeah,
directing things and scoring goals himself.
and I think they have one of the best CDMs in Rodri. He pretty much just cleans up everything. Just gives them maybe a tactical foul here and there just to stop any counterattacks. But yeah, I mean, I am surprised that they have 2 draws already. They are a little bit more. I feel like they play a little bit more openly this season. I don't know if that's the case or just Newcastle and Villa were just weird games for them, but they still obviously dominate possession.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Walker is still always an interesting person for me because he's so pacey, but at times he makes some really weird decisions with the ball.
Yeah. You still think they're the favorites for the title?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless they get injured, I can't really see them. They might drop a few points here or there, but yeah, they got to be the favorite for the title.
Yeah, definitely. They probably have the strongest starting 11 in the league and strongest backup as
Bench.
well. So yeah, so I don't think anyone can go up against them. Like even Arsenal, they're doing well at the moment, but it seems like there's always a moment in the season where Arsenal play really well and then they can't maintain it, so then they drop off because of the lack of depth. So I think with Arsenal, they won't be able to keep up pace of what they're doing. So they've won 5 games, and now today was their first loss. I think from here onwards, it won't be as smooth as it's been at the beginning of the season. They'll start dropping points here and there, and Man City will slowly regain their place at first, as they usually do for the past 5, 6 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Arsenal, people were complaining that they didn't bring a midfielder. I thought rightfully so, just because you have so many games. I think they have like 10 more games, and basically within like 2 months because of the World Cup. So there's not much breaks. And that's just Premier League. Obviously, there's like FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and now Europa
Yeah,
League and Champions
Europa.
League will be starting. So there's plenty of games. Waleed's laughing at Europa League.
Yeah, you guys were so close last season. You came fifth.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, European competitions are starting. Um, so yeah, obviously there will be a lot more games in between. This past week was kind of the first week where you have like 3 games basically in like 7 or 8 days. And you saw some teams kind of struggle with that. Um, but yeah, I mean we can start with Group A. Group A of Champions League is Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, and Rangers. Pretty tough group. A lot of solid contenders. I think Napoli is probably a little bit underrated. Probably so is
Yeah,
Rangers. I mean, they almost made it to the Europa League final, or they did
yeah.
make it to the Europa League final. I'm not sure, but Ismail, what do you think?
That's also kind of like a little mini group of death. Like it's actually a really competitive group. I mean, I would have to probably go Liverpool, maybe Napoli. Ajax has some rebuilding to do. Like half their squad probably got sold somewhere in Europe. So
Yeah,
I'd probably go, yeah, Liverpool, then Napoli, maybe just by a hair.
one of these teams will probably drop into the Europa League because they're pretty solid squads.
Yeah.
You agree with that, Waleed?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, maybe yeah, I think Ajax because of the 2 players in Martinez and Anthony that they lost, and I think there was a player that Chelsea were after too. I think his name was Alvarez. He made it clear that he wanted to leave, so I think that's going to cause some unrest in the squad as well.
Mm.
And just the rest of the squad, they're going to lose confidence, having known that 3 of their players have basically, or 2 of their players left, and one isn't happy with the club. I think because of that, they're just not going to be as good as they were last season. But they always come back, Ajax. They always find some new youngsters, and
Yeah,
so probably in a few 1 or 2 seasons they'll be back. But I think this season, I think even maybe Rangers might top them. Who knows? But yeah, it seems like obviously Liverpool seem to be the favourites to come first, and Napoli probably second.
yeah. Ajax also lost Sebastian Haller, who was just like scoring so much for them, especially in the
Machine.
Champions League in last season. He went to Dortmund, and then that guy Gravenberch, who was like a pretty important midfielder for them, went to Bayern. So yeah, they've exactly lost like half their team.
Yeah, but whatever Ajax is doing for their development, like other teams need to somehow replicate that. Like Ajax just puts out people, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they probably are the biggest like sellers, probably at least of the last 5 years.
Yeah, them and like Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
Like so many people have come from those two teams to the Premier League. It's crazy.
Yeah. Their academies are they're definitely doing something right. I think Van der Sar actually runs that club, right? He's like the
Yeah,
technical director or something.
yeah, he's involved.
But yeah, I mean, they've always had a lot of history. But second group is definitely a bit weaker. I agree with Liverpool and I think Napoli as well. But yeah, Group B is Porto, Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. I would say, but Atletico are probably favorites, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Leverkusen second. I saw Hudson Odoi actually went there, right? Waleed?
Yeah, he went there. I'm glad he left, to be honest. I mean, he wasn't doing that great at Chelsea, and obviously he should have been sold, to be fair, because I don't think he's going to get another chance, even when he comes back. So he should have just been sold. But yeah, he was never performing for Chelsea, and obviously he's too old to be sitting on the bench. So he needs to start some games. So I guess the German league is probably the best league for him to be in at the moment.
Wasn't it like 2 3 years ago? Bayern was trying to buy him.
Yeah, we should have sold him. I think they bid that around 60 million for him. It was
Wow.
something ridiculous, and we should have agreed to it. But who knows?
But yeah, you think Atletico and probably Leverkusen, right?
I was gonna disagree. I was gonna say I think Atletico they're gonna come second and Porto to come first. Atletico, I don't know, they always seem to always struggle in the group stages for some reason. So I think it's gonna be the same case this season because they'll have two games to play at home and away. Obviously, they're going to concede all the possession. They're going to park the bus. For me, I just have a feeling that they'll come second in the group and Porto will come first and Leverkusen third.
What's this whole thing with Griezmann's contract? Like he can only play a certain number of minutes or something. Like,
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
yeah, like Griezmann's been basically coming on for only a 30, like less than, I think it's less than 40 minutes, because otherwise Atletico would have to pay Barcelona like $40 million, something ridiculous. So they have to restrict his minutes. I'm just like, bro, you killed this guy's career. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, he probably should have never went to Barcelona. I mean, then he got screwed with
Yeah.
Messi leaving, and then the team kind of imploding. But now Barca's like, insane right now, and then
I
he's going
know.
back to Atletico Madrid.
I know. I think the craziness probably drove him to dye his hair that like bright blue that it
Yes, he always has some really interesting hairstyles. So what do you think, Atletico and who else?
Yeah, I haven't seen Porto play enough, but they do struggle. Like Waleed's point is fair. Like historically, they do. So yeah, probably. But I would go Bayer Leverkusen second.
Yeah, Arsenal were linked with Diaby. He's pretty fast winger, pacey winger. They always have a lot of talent. Leverkusen, like Havertz,
Yeah,
he was sold for what 90 million something.
Something like that.
Yeah. But the next group is probably the most interesting group. You have Bayern, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and then it doesn't even matter about the fourth team. It's pretty much
Victoria something.
yeah, it's pretty much that's the team that everybody's gonna beat up on. But we'll see. You never know. Last I remember last season, Real Madrid lost to a team called Sheriff. So you never know what happens in the group stages, and especially I'm assuming it's in somewhere in Eastern Europe, so they're gonna be traveling. I feel like the teams always struggle when they travel, especially to like Ukraine and Russia. But what do you think about this group as well?
Yeah, tough group. I mean, I would probably go Bayern one, Barca two. Only because Barca to me brought in so many people. Like I don't know how they're all just gonna mesh together. And yeah, they have these I mean, they have the quality like now. It's and people like Dembele are playing really well. You know, that he kind of feels like he's resurrected his career almost over the last couple months because he was almost going to be sold, I think, or you know. Inter are a strong squad too. So yeah, I'd probably still have to go Bayern one, Barca two.
What do you think, Waleed?
Yeah, I think it's quite easy choice this one. I think Bayern would be first, Barcelona second. Even with all their signings, Barcelona, I don't think they can match Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, they always seem to be very well communicated. They know what they're doing all the time. They work really well together as a team, and they obviously have big names. They have Mane, they still have Müller, who's still obviously, even though it feels like he's been around for like 20 years,
Yeah.
he's just been performing for so long. Yeah, they have so many big players. Even though Barcelona brought in new signings, I don't think this is enough, especially with their defense. Their attack is good, I think. I don't think
Lewandowski
their
against his
defense is
old
up for it.
team.
Inter Milan, yeah, exactly. Lewandowski against his own team. That's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, Inter Milan, I'm pretty sure Lukaku is probably regretting joining Inter Milan again now.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, that's such a weird team. Lukaku just goes back and forth basically between Inter and some other team. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Bayern want to put it on Lewandowski. I saw Muller already like tweeting at him to we're coming for you. Um, but yeah, I mean I'm sure there'll be lots of goals scored in this group. Um, Bayern look insane right now, especially with Mane. I feel like he's a perfect fit for them. Like he's a pretty selfless player, and obviously he's like super dynamic as well. So he should fit right into that team. I might even take Barcelona first. I mean, they've been playing great recently,
Mm.
and I think their midfield is a little bit better. With Kessie, De Jong, even Pedri. Pedri looks insane. He's what, like 19 years
Yeah,
old.
he's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, but probably the safe bet is Bayern. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say Barcelona win the group and take Bayern second. Yeah, the Group D's: Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting, and Marseille. Pretty even group, I would say. Marseille's been playing pretty well recently. They pretty much take all of Arsenal's loans and just make them play better. But Ismail, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably put Spurs first, and then because I feel like Spurs have been playing really well, and like they have a system going. Kulusevski's just, I find him just to be an amazing player. Um, and then yeah, probably Marseille, probably Marseille. Sporting is, you know, whatever, and then Frankfurt, yeah, they probably come last.
I think I saw United was trying to bid for Frankfurt for Trap,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
It was such a random like. And now De Gea is playing amazing last couple games, so so weird with him.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a
he's
confidence thing.
yeah, it's like he's definitely good enough to be a number one, but then like he just has these random moments. Um, Especially that first Brentford goal. I feel like that was just like he just lets it go through his hands. But yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with Tottenham and Marseille. What do you think? What do you think, Waleed?
Yeah, I would
Waleed's
agree with
internet is
Tottenham and
tough,
Marseille as
man.
well, but I wouldn't expect Tottenham to. Yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong with it. I work 9 to 5 every day. I never have an issue. I don't know. It's just this time my internet's really bad. And the same time last year as well was really bad for some reason. I'm not even sure you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Anyway, Tottenham, I think they're they're really a good team, especially in the league so far. And that's what Conte does. He makes the teams really good for the league that they're playing in. But as soon as it comes to knockout competitions, like for example the Champions League, they just do so badly. All of Conte's teams, they just never perform the Champions League. So I feel like they will come first in the group stage, but as soon as it comes to the last 16, I think they'll just get knocked out straight away. No matter who it is, I think they'll just get knocked out because of how bad he is as a knockout manager, and also Tottenham's fame for bottling big matches.
Yeah, he's trying to reverse that Spursiness out of them. But yeah. I mean, this should be a pretty comfortable group for them. They should win pretty much every game in this group, um, or at least not drop points. But next group is Milan and Chelsea, Salzburg, Dinamo Zagreb. Milan's actually, looking pretty good this season, and last season obviously they won the Italian league. I think Milan is pretty strong to get first. I think Milan will get first, especially in Chelsea's form.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, agree with that. Yeah, Waleed.
I don't agree with that being a Chelsea fan, but yeah, I mean, historically in the past two seasons since Tuchel's been there, even though he hasn't been performing in the league, he's been doing well in the Champions League, especially the first season. Obviously, we won last season, done really well. We were losing to Madrid, and we were winning against Madrid, and then 15 minutes later, Madrid won. So I think it was just there was that much in it before, and then Madrid just won. Otherwise, Chelsea were doing really well. So I think when it comes to the Champions League matches, I think once the players start like the injury come back from injuries, I think Chelsea will do well, and I think Milan shouldn't be too difficult of a game. And the other two teams obviously aren't that great, so I think it should be easy for Chelsea, hopefully.
I forget right now, but group stages they usually end in what, December, January, right? So I wonder if how many games will be played before the World Cup.
Cup.
It must be only like the first two. I mean, maybe first three like group games.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because last 16 matches usually start, I think, in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is saying match day 6 of 6 will be pretty much 1st of November, first week of November.
Oh wow! So they're playing
Yeah.
pretty much every other week, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe every week, I think.
Yeah, match day one's like September 6th, and then September 13th, then October 4th, October 11th, October 25th, November 1st. That's really crazy schedule.
Yeah.
This season, everyone's going to be injured, I think, especially because of the World Cup.
Right. And then like there's always post World Cup transfers that impact teams as well. So there could be some changes in the January window as well. And then obviously they're just cramming of games. At least pre-World Cup. I don't know about post-World Cup how cramped the schedule is, but
well, also too, isn't this like the first time probably in a long time World Cup is this late in the year?
yeah, I think the first time ever, right? I don't
Must
think
be.
I've ever heard it.
Yeah, because it's never been in the Middle East, I think. So they've had to do it in the winters to avoid the summer heat. Yeah.
Even with the water breaks and everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Because even Brazil, I remember, was pretty hot and like obviously super humid and everything, tropical. So I remember they had water breaks, I think, in that World Cup. But yeah, I mean that'll definitely be interesting. I think they get like 1 week, 2 weeks off before the World Cup as well, and then Premier League always has fixtures like around Christmas and like Boxing Day and all that, so they'll have a quick turnaround. But Ismail, you thought Milan would win the group as well?
Yeah, only because of Chelsea's form. Chelsea on paper, I think, should still win the group, but they just haven't figured out themselves yet this season. But maybe, I mean, yeah, they have done really well in the past in Champions League, and Tuchel, I mean, I think he's a good coach. I don't know if all this experimenting is just him, dealing with what he has with the squad, but he has the talent for them to win the group. So it's tough. I think maybe I'll just be slightly American biased with Dest going to Milan. We'll just pick Milan first, and then we'll have Chelsea second.
Yeah, free Pulisic.
Exactly. I really thought he would come to United. Like I thought they were gonna try to make that work, but I guess not.
Yeah, I definitely thought he would go on a loan somewhere, but he ended up starting in the last game, so we'll see. Next group is Madrid, Real Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar, and Celtic. First time I've seen Celtic in the Champions League in a while, at least in the group stage. But Real Madrid and Leipzig are obviously favorites. Real Madrid look pretty good this season as well. I've been watching some of their games. Chouameni and Camavinga have been pretty solid midfielders because I don't think they expected Casemiro to leave, this soon.
Yeah.
So, but they definitely have the young talent. They always buy. They've had a smart, recruitment strategy last couple of years of buying people when they're pretty young and letting them develop alongside their obviously aging talent like Benzema and Modric and Cruz.
Who are all still playing really well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, they should win the group, I think.
Yeah. I think Madrid first, Leipzig second, pretty much done.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Next group is pretty interesting. Obviously, Man City has their, Haaland's old team in Dortmund, Sevilla, and we should get Nabil on for Copenhagen. Maybe he's seen a couple of their games. But yeah, I would say City and Dortmund probably.
Same.
I was going to say Man City and Sevilla.
I mean, Sevilla,
I think
they
Sevilla
always don't they always do really good in Europe?
Yeah, so maybe they might go out in the group stage so they can join Europa to win the Europa. Who knows?
It's like their thing.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first time Man City have actually got decent opponents in the group stage. Otherwise, they're famously known for every year having the easiest opponents in the group stages. So I think it's good that they finally got some tough teams.
Yeah, but I think they'll definitely score a bunch of goals on these teams, especially, Sevilla and Dortmund. They're pretty much open teams. I feel like both of them try to play pretty openly. But yeah. Next group is probably obviously top heavy as well. PSG, Juventus, then Benfica and Maccabi Haifa. I don't think I've ever seen them in the Champions League, at least last couple of years. But
yeah, they're Israeli team or something.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
But it's time for PSG to show up, right?
Yeah, they've been performing really well this season. I'm not sure if you've been reading or even watching the highlights, but Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, all three of them have been doing really well. I think maybe the new manager, I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's just letting them play, but they've been attacking really well. I'm not sure what the defensive side is like, but
They've
all
been
three of
playing
them
back
are
three recently
Back three.
with Ramos, Marquinhos, and Kimpembe, but I think that's opened them up a little bit. Then they have, obviously so much talent in the front line, and then they've also recruited a lot of players as well, like Renato Sanchez and I forget the other guy's name, Vitinha. He's pretty young Portuguese upcoming guy, but yeah, I feel like they've solidified their team a lot. Yeah, I mean they should win the group.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Juventus is actually pretty interesting this season as well. Vlahovic has pretty much been scoring in like almost every game, and then they brought in Di Maria, and obviously they let Dybala go. But I mean, there should be an interesting battle for who gets first. What do you think, Waleed?
I think Juventus will make it, but I think PSG will definitely get the first spot just because their attack is way too strong. Even the defense is definitely better than Juventus. As a side, as a whole, like individuals, I think PSG are definitely better, and it seems like they're finally clicking together as well. So hopefully this year is the year that Messi wins the Champions League after what I think 8 years now.
Yeah, I mean they haven't won since 2015, which is insane considering all the teams and talent that they had, especially at Barcelona. But yeah, I mean, who do you think are the favorites right now? I'd probably say City, and I guess you have to throw Real Madrid, right? City, Real Madrid, PSG.
Yeah, definitely City. I'd probably as my favorite, and then Real Madrid is reigning champs, so you got to give them credit to defend properly. And Bayern, I think, is always in the mix.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I think City are the favorites, but I don't think they'll win it.
You
Just
think they got another
because
choke in them?
Pep Guardiola, he just hasn't been able to do it. Yep. Yeah, I don't think Pep Guardiola can do it. He hasn't won it since he left Messi in 2011, and I think I think PSG and Bayern are probably the favorites. I don't think Real Madrid are the favorites either, just because they let go of Casemiro. Cruz isn't as good as he was, and now they're relying on their younger teammates. They've obviously got Modric and Benzema, but I think the rest of them won't be able to. They won't have the experience.
Yeah, I mean, the draws always make a big difference as well, like who the teams match up with as well. Real Madrid, I mean, even Real Madrid, they had the toughest draw I thought last season, and they still pulled it out. Everybody thought they were going to lose in the round of 16 when they matched up against PSG, and they probably should have lost. They probably should have lost pretty much every round, but you know, they're the reigning champs.
They have that Champions League magic.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me this time. Hopefully we get you know, oh sorry, something on my computer. But
Hey, sorry. Before you say bye, I just wanted to say I just got a notification on my phone. It says Diego Costa might join Wolves.
wow.
Yeah, really weird.
I thought Ronaldo should have gone to Wolves and get that whole Portuguese team.
That would have been cool.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully we can, you know, reconvene maybe after a couple of group stage games. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Alrighty.
All right.
Be easy.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.